Hi, how are y'all today? My name is Stacy Sutter and I'm with Summit VA Solutions. We wanted to do a 3-part video on how to set up a blended company. Now, as a lot of you already know, I own a virtual assistant company and I've worked from a 10 by 12 building in my backyard for the last 5 years. And we wanted to share with you some of the tools that we use to onboard new virtual assistants in other people's companies. We've interviewed a bunch of our clients, taken their best practices, and put together this 3-part video series for you all to watch and to help educate you on how and what you need to do to bring a virtual employee on board your company. So sit back. I hope you enjoy the videos. If you do, hit the like button. If you would, please share them with your friends, your co-workers, and maybe other people you know that are in business. So, like I said, I hope you enjoy these videos. So the first thing you need to do when setting up a blended company is to find a virtual assistant. Now, there are many companies out there that do this type of work, but most of them provide you a body and little else. What you're looking for when you are interviewing these virtual assistant companies are strong, solid business practices. Do they carry E&O insurance on the work the virtual assistants do? Do they do any pre-training? Are the virtual assistants screened and have had a background check? Do they pay a competitive wage? And the most important, are they based here in the United States? The corporation, that is. The reason being is in January of 2018, the tax bill changed. And most VA companies are based outside of the United States. If you use a company based inside the United States, you are able to write your virtual assistant off at 100%. The new tax bill made it illegal and unavailable to write off the services provided by a foreign entity. So, even though your virtual assistant may live in another country, it's important that the corporation is based in the United States so that you can get all of the tax advantages of using virtual assistants. So on day 1, you need to be prepared for onboarding a new employee. Somebody from your management team, the owner of the company, or the manager that they're going to be working directly for should be there to greet them, make them feel welcome, and kind of give them an idea about the company. Talk about your mission statement, where you all are trying to go, what their position entails, and make sure they have a clear understanding of what the expectation is for the position that they've accepted. Step 3 for you all is to make sure you have the tools ready for your virtual assistant or your virtual employee on the day they start. You should have already set them up with an email account for your company. For face-to-face communication, we recommend Zoom, Skype, and WhatsApp. And for telephone communication, including the ability to text, we use RingCentral, Google Phone, and finally Skype phone. These are the tools that your virtual assistant or your virtual employee are going to be using every day to communicate with both the staff at the office as well as your clients. You need to have this ready because we want them to start out with an explosion and be ready to be productive the minute they start with your company. Step 4 is training. Now I know before you roll your eyes and throw your hands up, Training isn't fun. And it's not fun because most people aren't really good at it. That's why large corporations hire trainers. But training is the most important thing you can do for any employee to ensure their success. And remember that the more you put in the first 30, 60, and 90 days will give you massive results on the back end. So let's talk about training. At Summit, all of our virtual assistants get 160 hours of training before they actually come to work for you. But what I can't teach them is how you want your business ran. I can try, but I really can't do it, because these are the nuances that make your business different from everybody else in your industry. So, what do you need to do to train? You need to make sure that you do it face to face. Do training live in person. You can also do videos, but you can't ask a video a question as it comes up in the mind of the person that you're trying to train. So we prescribe to a program we call 30 and 30, where you actually spend the first 30 minutes of each day teaching your virtual employee or your virtual assistant one thing about your company that you want them to know. And in that 30 minutes, what do? You show them live how to do a task. They document that task. You then have them show you how to do that task. And at the end of the day, they write that task up and submit it to you for your approval. You review that task and make sure it's correct. And what do you have when you're all done? You have an employee that understands the task given to them. And 2, you have the start of an SOP manual, standard operating procedure. And whether you are hiring people in your company live in person or you're hiring a virtual staff, SOPs are the one thing that allows them to be able to move forwards. It reduces future training time because there's a standard. This is the way we do X, right? Doesn't matter what it is, but this is the way we do it in this company. And that, folks, is the most important part about training. Standardizing your systems. It allows you to be more productive. A lot of times it allows you to use less people. And number 3, it allows new people coming in to ramp up quicker, because here it is. Here are the training modules that you've already built. So remember, training is the most important thing you can give a new employee or a virtual employee when they're first starting out. Step 5 is going to be introduce your virtual assistant to your in-office staff, your virtual staff, the management team, the people you do business with, and your clients. You want to make the virtual assistant or the virtual employee feel at home. You want to make them feel like they're part of the team, and you would do this exact same thing if you were hiring somebody to work in your office. So anything you would do for an in-office assistant or an in-office employee, you need to do the exact same thing for your virtual employees. When you have a team meeting, you need to put them on a monitor and let them hear the message just like everybody else. When you have a meeting, you need to do it virtually. If you're having an in-office meeting with your staff, put up your monitor, throw on your camera, and let them watch, listen, and participate. By doing this, You are going to build a culture that is a blended company that actually is going to work together. It is coming. You might as well embrace it now and study all of the stuff that's out here on the internet about building blended companies using virtual assistants and virtual employees, because it is the wave of the future and you are going to have to be part of it. As a lot of you have learned during this corona epidemic that we're going through, you can work from home, you can be successful, and you can be highly productive. And that is what we're all about. So, let's move forwards together and let's move on to step 6. Here in step 6, we're going to talk about 2 things. 1, communication. 2, regular video conferencing. They go hand in hand, which is why I put them together. You have to communicate. We live in a society where communication is the most important thing in business. You've probably already learned that a failure to communicate or a failure to understand something can have dramatic effects in your business, slow the processes down, and make you unsuccessful. So, regular video conferencing with your virtual assistants or your virtual employees is extremely important. Most of us can talk with somebody and tell when you're explaining something to them, you can tell when the light bulb goes off above their head and they understand, right? In that same vein, you can also look at them and tell by their body language that they don't have a clue what you're talking about. So you have to explain it a different way. You can do this by email, you can do it by text, but it's always leaves stuff open for interpretation, and you can't ask questions in a timely manner. So as you're explaining things to people, explain it to them face to face. It's going to do a couple of things. 1, it's going to make sure there's clarity. 2, you're going to start to build a rapport with the person on the other side of the monitor. And finally, communication is going to happen and everybody is going to be on the same page at the same time. Now, right now, we're all having to video conference with all of our employees because we've all been sent home. But if you take this time and learn to communicate in this format, you can have employees literally anywhere in the world still run a highly successful company and enjoy the work that you're doing, have communication, and be successful. Well, that wraps it up for today. I hope that you've enjoyed these videos and I hope you're finding some value in them. If you like them, go ahead and hit that like button there at the bottom of the page. Share them with your friends, your coworkers, other people in your industry, and other business folks that you may know. In these trying times, here in the middle of the corona epidemic that is ravaging the world, the idea of blended companies is now more important than it has ever been. And what you all should be learning from this is that you can work virtually because almost all of us are having to. You can have people in other parts of the world work for you. You can be highly productive. And you can save yourself and your company a ton of money. We at Summit VA Solutions are trying to help you come up and solve the problems of working virtually. And we think we've got this pretty well handled. So from all of us here at Summit VA Solutions, let me wish you a good evening. I hope that each and every one of you is healthy and safe. And remember, this is not going to last forever. We are going back to work. It might just look a little different when we get there. Thanks again and have a great evening.